What is going on? What is up, Screamers? We are back with another round of Suns and Shadows cast. We are on a brand new season, and we're kicking it off with Drawn Together, season 1 from Comedy Central from 2004, I believe. Kevin, am I right?
Yes, 2004. 2004
And
through 2007.
Ooh, so it ran about 3 seasons, and we're going to kick this one off just covering the first season. You'll get the next couple of seasons in our next couple of episodes. But Kevin, you brought this one up to me. I'd never heard of it before. What's your experience with this one?
This was... So you know how I told you there was like that 4 or 5 year long period where I didn't have TV?
Yeah.
So I missed the end of Mystery Science Theater. I missed a whole bunch of neat stuff when sci-fi was starting to get its own footing.
Yeah.
But when I moved up here to Oregon to help out my mom on our ranch, this was the first new show that I'd seen in like 5 years. And my jaw hit the ground. It was so goddamn funny.
All right. I can easily see the humor in this. Within the first 5 minutes of starting an episode for the rewatch on this, or my first watch for this rather, I started laughing. I'm like, I hate reality shows, and this like basically riffs all of them within minutes. And if you can't find something funny about that, maybe the show's not for you. But it's definitely a mature audience humor, and they definitely go for broke. And they actually bring up a couple of shows I had seen that I didn't think anybody else really ever knew about. They mentioned the Joe Schmo show, which was on Spike TV. When they mentioned that one in one of the episodes, I just about keeled over thinking, I thought nobody watched that show except me. So that was really funny.
I've never even heard of that. I've seen this show so many times, and I've never even caught that.
The Joe Schmo show, that was on Spike. That was kind of like a live action, a television version of The Truman Show, where everybody's in on the gag except for one person. And at the end of the season, they revealed to him the truth, like, hey, your best friend is not a former criminal that absolutely hates your guts because you voted him off the show, and these two women that you thought they had the hots for you, they really didn't have the hots for you, and they actually really like you as a person, and they felt being bad bitchy to you the entire time. And it was this big, it went a few episodes. I enjoyed watching it just because it was something other than the typical shit reality show. And I'm sorry for everybody listening. If you're a reality show person, that's cool. I got nothing against it. It's not for me, period. I can't stand them. My idea of a reality show I'll watch is like something from like Bar Rescue to Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, things of that nature, like home improvement shows, Flip This House, blah, 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 car garage stuff. Yeah. But like actual straight up game show format, like say Survivor, Bachelor, every other one that got mentioned in Drawn Together, I don't like those at all. I can't stand them. But this was just so much fun to see something like completely ripping that apart and providing something different. So it was really fun. And it was really interesting how they did it with Drawn Together, an animated show with characters from just about every little genre you could kind of pull from. And it's the characters are what drive this. The story premise is super simple, but it's the characters that and how they interact with one another. Like you got Toots, you got Xander, you got Captain Hero, Waldorf, Spanky. I mean, down the line, and a really good voice cast. Got Tara Strong in here, and you got an Adam Carolla in here as Spanky, which is fantastic. Big fan of him. So this was just a shit ton of fun, man.
You know who won this for me, I think, initially? Was Cree Summer, Foxy.
Okay. Oh, Foxy was great, man.
Yes.
She was the one who was like all the sass and all the ass, basically.
I have fallen in love with 2 voices in my life. One was Jewel growing up because I think she just has the most beautiful singing voice. And Cree Summer as a voice actress because like she just always has like the coolest characters that are the most engaging to listen to.
Yeah.
She was the main character on X-Men Legends, the PS2 game. And it was a lot of fun.
I don't remember that, and I have that game.
Yeah,
Oh, crap.
it was the X-Men version of Baldur's Gate back in the
Yeah, I
day.
got both of them.
Yeah.
I still have them, actually. I'm looking over at them.
I want to say her character's name was Magma, which is just basically a fire-based version of
Oh,
Iceman.
shit, that's right. Now I hear that, actually. It's been a while. I should play those games again.
It was her screaming that was like, oh, hey, I know that voice. And then she plays Dr. Penny Young on Batman Arkham Asylum.
Okay, yeah.
The one who was making all the Titan formula.
Yeah, Titan Joker. Great battle.
And this might have also been the show that made me start to more appreciate voiceover artists than live action artists or actors. I started to know their names more, recognize their voices more, and just really become bigger fans. Like Tara Strong, for example. This might be my first show where I really knew it was her.
Oh yeah, you can kind of spot her voice. She's got hella range, and she can do different pitches and emotions and ages and everything. But like, it's very distinct in this one that it's basically her. And you could spot it a mile away. I heard her voice, and I'm like, I knew she was in this when we were doing prep, and I'm like, I'm looking forward to this just to hear her. And she was great. It's like that familiar voice that really brings you into a show of any sort. It's, I don't know, it's one of those familiar things, and it automatically gives it a couple point bump or a bonus, so to speak. And just, okay, I can go with this. She sounds all right in this show. And then it pulls you in enough to get you attached to the rest of the cast and show.
Yeah. And then Jess Harnell from Animaniacs is Captain Hero. And it has a funny thing with this show, very much kind of like the Slaughterhouse game for the PS3. Jim Cummings was the voice of the Mask. And he was doing his Darkwing Duck voice, basically, and saying the most profane shit that you could possibly think of. So that's kind of what Captain Hero is for me in this. It's like I hear wacko in my head, but it's it's Captain Hero.
Captain Hero. They didn't go to him a whole lot during the first 7 episodes, and that was fine because you almost feel like, okay, what kind of character is this goofball going to be? He's wearing like biker shorts as part of his outfit. Like, where are we going to go with this character, and how is it going to center around him? Actually, it doesn't. He's more of like the backup cast, or if you're going to look at this as an ensemble, he's more an ancillary character rather than a primary. And I think that's great because he can bounce off of anybody at a particular time. When they did take time to focus on him as a character, it's like, yeah, he's running around trying to save the world and also trying to bang any cousins of princesses at times, or trying to tell Xander, I know we're supposed to be friends, but I got a job to do, but I need to hang out with you, or you're going to be all emo on me for the rest of this season. Great, I'm going to hang out with you at the zoo and let the world burn. So there was a nice dichotomy where he could play like these subplots to the main plots going on in each episode, and that worked for me because it didn't overplay him. Now, as we get into the other seasons, I'm looking forward to seeing how well they keep this train going, because is it going to ebb and flow? Is it going to be nice and smooth? Is it going to be a dip? We'll see.
There will be more of the same of what you see here, specifically the date to the zoo. Like they don't become a couple. I don't want to spoil too much. They're not a couple by any means, but they bicker quite like one.
Wait, do we need to spin the bottle with those guys?
My God.
Because that was the thing in one of the episodes at first when Waldorf was spinning the bottle. I'm like, are they playing spin the bottle? And then him and Spanky did a kiss, and then Spanky spun it, and then it was him and Hero, and then Hero spun it, and then it was all three of them. I'm like, this is kind of funny. I wasn't expecting that.
But Captain Hero, when Waldorf, when he gets to spin, he's wee. Captain Hero goes, dude, if you make this gay, you can't play.
He's like, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
The only one missing in that scene would have been Xander. But
oh my God. And the things that they were saying, it was just completely left field. And it's like the more horrible shit you could possibly think, they couldn't say that. They do.
Yeah, 19 years ago, sensibilities were very different than they are now.
Yes, we were.
Now you get PG-13 South Park, and they go nice and easy on Disney and the fan base. If they had done their little episode that just came out, say 15 years ago, it would have been way more savage. It's good. Yeah. I do really like it, but they did kind of go a little soft on it.
Yes. This was towards the point where the Extreme Era was over. Attitude Era was over, of course.
Yeah, for wrestling, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Dave Chappelle was pretty much the king of TV at that point. And
dropping motherfuckers like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, his show was just funny as hell. And it was like this, where it's punching down or out at everyone.
Yeah. Nobody's safe.
Yeah, there was Catholic jokes, Jewish jokes, Hindi jokes, Buddhist jokes, every religion, nationality, whatever you could possibly think of, there was a joke about them. And it was another, you can't say minority. They throw that word around so often in the show just for fucking giggle's sake, but
oh my God, even from the princess.
Yeah. And that just kind of added to the humor for it. But yeah, I mean, this was one of those shows where, again, like I said, it was the first thing I'd seen since not having TV for 4 years. And not only that, because, you know, when you're starved, anything could taste like gourmet. Like Eddie Murphy has that joke, if you don't eat for 5 weeks and you get a cracker, you think it's Ritz. Very similar situation, but this very much catered to my dirty sense of humor, my willingness to joke at everything, my desire for people to laugh at horrible shit. It spoke to me. It really did.
That's like basically the definition of comedy. Everything is fair game and nothing is off limits.
Yeah, it really was. And it made me laugh. Like, clearly, we're white males, and I was Catholic at the time. Well, I haven't been Catholic since I was a kid, but like, there's so many jokes that are just directly pointed at us, but it's not like we haven't fucking deserved that more or less over the years as far as being a demographic. Everyone got their fair shake or unfair shake, and they did it really well. It's hard to explain. Punching up is the best way to say it. Like when Mel Brooks makes jokes in Blazing Saddles, the racist jokes are always punching up at the racist people. It's not being racist.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, this show doesn't go out of its way to be racist. It goes out of its way to say racist things.
But just be completely off the wall.
Yes, and that's why. It's almost a shock value show.
Well, and it pulls at like the strings of the other reality shows that we brought up, where I've mentioned before, is like they're basically riffing off of other reality shows that would play on incidences like that. Like that was a thing with a lot of those shows years ago. Like you got to build up the drama somehow. And of course, there's going to be some like 60-year-old dude who absolutely hates like the 20-year-old Asian guy or whatever. And that's just how the show is built, like drama back then. And some of them were scripted that way. Some of them were not scripted that way. But almost all reality shows have quite a bit of scripting to them now. If this show was on now, man, it would have a field day, but they'd also have to keep an eye on the language a little bit. They wouldn't be able to get away with this much. And even when they did like, say like the shock value nudity, they always pixelated it. And that was pretty funny. They actually went to a joke about like flipping somebody off early on in the first season here, where it's pixelated, and Princess Claire is just like, Foxy showed me this one finger, and I'm trying to figure, and they go through the different hand motions of what a one finger might be, and then she flipped the camera off, and she realized, oh, I see what's going on here, because that was pixelated. She's like, oh, so that's what Foxy was doing to me. And it's like, yeah. But like, as you were saying, like, there's no avoiding it with this show. It's crass. It's all over the place. And Princess Clara makes like the worst jokes about black people. And she just, I don't want to get us canceled or nothing, but there's so many things. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that.
Oh, she obviously comes from good stock, was like the biggest slap in the face I have ever seen on TV. I was like, oh no. And of course, she just got her ass kicked for saying that too. So, I mean, it always balanced itself out, for as she was trying to help Foxy keep her on the show, but then it started turning into a slave auction, was the way she was talking. And of course, even though it was in good faith, she still got the shit beat out of her for fucking saying it.
And Foxy's staring at her like, bitch, I am whipping that ass.
And then fucking it.
Yeah, and then they have this little lesbian love affair at the end of within like minutes of this first episode. I'm like, boy, were they watching wrestling? This is like some HLA stuff going on.
Captain Hero has my favorite fucking line in that pilot episode. Well, aside from the 12-year-old and donkey. It's where they're singing the some black chick's tongue song, and it's at the very end. He's going, how cool is this? We've only been here a day, and I already find myself in a three-way. Oh my
God.
God.
Super funny. I heard that. I just about killed over laughing. I'm like, okay, so after one episode of this show, I know what I'm getting into now. I am on board for this show. And God, did I even have a quote in this first episode? Oh, yeah. It's not a good one, but you know what? Screw it. Help someone. She's attacking me like I'm the English language.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was just like, oh my God, that is so bad. But it was funny. Honestly, the only thing I didn't quite understand was Waldorf, but he didn't have much in the first episode to begin with anyway.
No, he's just supposed to be like some weird Looney Tune.
Like SpongeBob sort of thing.
Yeah. Wacky whatchamacallit is basically what they call him, I think.
Yeah, with like a plunger for a butt.
Yeah, a plunger with a butt
and slash tail.
Yeah. And he pulls things out of his ass for comedic effect, of course.
Yep, including a chicken and Ling Ling.
Ling Ling and a French horn.
Dude, fucking Ling Ling was awesome this whole show. That's one of my underrated characters that I've seen so far.
Yeah, Ling Ling is a lot of fun, and they keep doing fun things with Ling Ling. I think my favorite pair up with Ling Ling is Spanky, because they don't understand.
Oh, like the sweatshop thing?
Yes, like they will have adventures together like that, almost like Stewie and Brian almost.
Hey, that works for me.
Yeah, so I mean, when there's an episode where it's the two of them pairing up, kind of like with Captain Hero and Xander, you know it's going to be a pretty good time or a good episode. I
am on a never-ending quest to save my girlfriend.
Girlfriend. Grapes are fun.
He's totally gay. That was the line in the first episode. I'm like, I see what they're doing here.
Oh, but I love how they kept trying to make Clara the bigot. Well, I mean, Clara is a bigot. There's no getting around that.
Unknowingly and knowingly so at the same time.
Yes.
She's a bit dense, but when it's time for her to show some smarts, it's like, oh shit, that bitch could take over this whole fucking show if they let her.
She has her moments. Yeah.
Like when her cousin shows up, but we'll get to that.
Oh, I was really thinking of the fact where where they were trying to get information from Waldor, and she just starts beating him with the food tray or something. Just like, tell me where it is.
That was the cupcake tin or something like that.
That's
I actually
right.
wrote that down later on. I'm like, this is great, good cop and bad cop with her and Xander, because I think the voice actors went back to their more natural, aggressive tone of voice, and I'm like, I like that duo as good cop, bad cop, or bad cop, worse cop. It was so funny. I'm like, I know somebody who knows where the genie. Yeah. That's the episode where Xander came out, but
Oh, that's right.
because they were trying to find the genie lamp, and only Waldorf knew where the genie lamp was,
and he kept it in his fanny. That's right. That's right.
with the Robin Williams sort of like knockoff imitation voice, which was super funny. I wish they could have got, if they had the budget for it and they could have gotten Robin Williams, that would have been fucking killer.
Probably, although Disney probably had some sort of contract saying that he couldn't do that.
Oh, they couldn't have afforded Robin Williams for that anyway.
Oh God, no. All the guests that they got on here were like friends and favors and stuff like that. Like Clara's cousin was Sarah Silverman,
right?
Which I thought was also, I didn't remember that was her. So I mean, that was kind of a fun little giggle at the end of that episode too.
Yeah. No, well, and also all the other animated cameos that showed up, like the pixelated Elmer Fudd, Snagglepuss, and just they had a bunch of fun little insinuations and implications going on with characters that may or may not be on the show officially. It was really funny.
Yeah.
I loved Elmer Fudd. That was perfect.
I'm going to release your throbbing member. Like, all right.
And Xander's like, oh, okay. Oh,
hey. That was such a great episode. I truly love it because one, Xander got to finally be who we were going to see Xander being for the rest of the show. His girlfriend we got to see basically get eaten by snakes. We don't.
She's
see
like,
her
yeah,
anymore
screw off. I'll die now.
Yeah, like I would rather die and did it. Well, okay then.
To be saved by some limp-wristed, blah 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 guy. Oh, and the other fun part about that particular episode was Captain Hero and his Bizarro counterpart.
Oh,
and he's like, whatever happens in Bizarro World stays in Bizarro World. And then later, the Bizarro version is like clearly hung from a tree. And they're like, oh, he took his life. And Captain Hero's like, yeah, he took his life. Oh, so sad.
tragic.
It's like, that's totally tragic.
That's where I get that from.
It's like he did not want anybody knowing. He swung the other way too once.
In a bus station near Bizarro World. Oh wait, no, bus station. Where was it? But they had a postcard for Bizarro World, so you had to assume that you were in Bizarro World.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't think I wrote that down.
I don't recall where it was, but yeah, it was funny as hell. Hero's trying to make excuses as to why he wasn't gay.
Yeah, the debauchery in this episode reminded me of Hero-gasm and The Boys.
Well, the funny thing is watching this 20 years later and having the experience to see that alpha male is like very in the closet. Like it wouldn't have been a surprise to 43-year-old Kev as it was to 23-year-old Kev. Like, oh, he's just making it up as he goes. And now you're just kind of like, well, duh.
Durr.
Or is it saying this? Duh.
It could be worse. It could be Toots who couldn't quite get a grip on anything unless she was blading herself.
Oh, God.
Yes, everything you're hearing so far is in this show. We are not making this stuff up.
Yeah, she is what psychology refers to as a cutter, where she has to take a razor blade across her thigh so she can feel emotionally, which is
She's
it's
like a
not a laugh
walking
rap.
Rorschach test is what she was.
Yes, because she was sexy 70 years ago, or almost 100 years ago at this point.
Or when she got onto the bulimia and the whatever kick after she ate too much food and looked like Jabba the Hutt. And then she went the opposite way, became so stick skinny she kept breaking her own neck.
And that was the stinger, wasn't it? Where she kept giggling and then her head snapping over.
Yep. That was pretty funny too.
This is probably the only other show outside of MST where it's like there was a stinger that you really wanted to see what it was going to be.
Was that your favorite, or do you have a favorite?
My favorite was the Captain Hero waiting for the door for the 12-year-old and a donkey.
Ah,
because it just went on forever and ever.
Awkward. Yeah.
And finally, damn, just goes about his business.
My favorite was probably when Clara's cousin Bleh showed up, and she put the lampshade on, and they kept turning the lamp on and off. And it just kept going and going and going. I was about ready to be like, hey, are they going to do an imitation Energizer Bunny running through here at the end? That would have been so funny. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom.
So before anyone writes in and yells at me, please know that I have kids with special needs. Now, that having been said, Bleh was fucking funny as shit. Completely
hot as hell,
hysterical. Too. Yes.
That was the great reveal. And it didn't even take long into the episode to get that either. It's like, thank God you didn't wait till like the last 5 minutes and then rush through it.
And what was that they were spoofing where she was taking off her top and walking across the diving board? Was that was Bo Derek or
Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Maybe?
Was that Phoebe?
Phoebe? Maybe.
I think so.
That, or I want to say like Christmas Vacation, but that's probably that they got that from Fast Times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. But yeah, her saunterily going across the diving board topless and then falling on it and clutching it as hard as she could.
And I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. What was she quoting? Like movie reviews for, what was it?
I Am Sam is a wonderful film, says the New York Times.
That's right, I Am Sam. That's the only way she spoke until the end credit, until like the very last minute of the show before they go to the credits. And she's like, ooh, $50. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. And she's actually speaking half normal. I'm like, bitch, have you been faking this? Like, what is going on here? It was pretty. But then she would then revert back a little bit and throw like, I am Sam.
Oh yeah,
something or other.
And then you hear the because there were special need counterparts to every single person in the house.
Yep.
Including Spanky, who bet her $50 that she wouldn't have sex with the dry mouth.
Or what? Wait, I thought it was I'll bet you $50 if you could sleep with somebody on the show.
Oh, I thought he said, I bet you $50 to sleep with a dry mouth. I was like,
oh, Spanky to the hero. Yeah, I'm talking about her at the end of the episode where it's revealed she got bet $50 by everybody else on the bus if she could sleep with somebody on the show.
Yeah.
Boy, were they tangled up in knots when they woke up in the morning.
I love Spanky's voice that was so distant from down the hall when Clara was basically threatening Hero. Look who's doing the walk of shame.
Yep. And then he comes in and he's like, hey, here's the $50 I paid you to sleep with her. Well, Princess is there and she's like, wait, what? And then he comes up with this completely convoluted excuse. Oh, no, let me walk that back. And as he walks it back, he actually comes all the way around full circle twice to admit, yeah, I paid him $50 to bang her. Here's your $50. And after she ditches, Hero, he's like, well, I'm going shopping.
And he gets a fucking mink coat, a pimp hat, some gold chains, a fucking Corvette, not a Corvette, a convertible with hydros on it, just bouncing down the street. Booyah, $50.
My God, it was so reminded me of the movie Euro Trip, where they were in like this European or former Russian country, and they're like, we only have like $5, and they're like, $5 American? And then the next thing you know, they're partying like rich fuckers for like the next like 10 minutes of the movie. Just reminded me of that. Euro Trip is a fun movie. I like that movie so much.
I need to see that. I never saw that one.
That's pretty fun.
It was a sequel to Road Trip, wasn't it?
Or
Or in the same vein?
Same vein, yeah.
Okay.
Road Trip's pretty fun too. I had sex last night with a girl. And hey, if people are interested, we do our 0 points. If you want some fun thing next summer where we do like some raunchy comedies, hey, we're game. We'll do it. Even if they're bonus episodes just for people that are members or followers of us.
That's true. And I will always support watching raunchy comedy and people hearing and saying horrible, naughty things. Like that was my entire purpose for this podcast, was to make sure people heard this show. Like more people need to be damaged like me and watch this show. It's
and undamaged like me, to where you actually like talking and then watching about the shows too. So we got the full spectrum. We got you covered.
You know what my inner beast is inside, since we were talking about Jabba the Hutt, was how Xander's supposed to be that little laughing slave thing that Jabba has.
Oh, he was doing the role of Slave Leia.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, because he had the bikini on.
Oh, that's right. Ling was on
the laugh of like the little pet or whatever he had.
That's right. I always hear Jabba's pet in the back of my head when something just like is extremely naughty. And I can't help it. Like people being put out because they can't believe they just saw or heard something makes me laugh, like with them and for them in a way. Like not like shocking people to upset them. No, that's not cool at all. But just coming up with something or saying something that no one's expecting, that just makes their jaw hit the ground. You don't see that a whole lot. And this did that in almost every single episode. And the only other show we've talked about that was like that was Police Squad.
Hell yeah.
And that
in color.
In color. And that only made it 6 episodes before they were like, you know what, let's just focus on the movies.
Yeah, ultimately when we get to season 3, I'm going to be kind of curious as to what the hell happened with this show and why I got next. But at this point, like the Comedy Central's already thinking like, hey, 7 episodes in, we're doing more. We're going. And they ended with it to be continued in the final episode. So that's pretty telling that there was some faith in this show at a particular moment of its life. I'd be curious to see what happened or didn't happen once we get there.
I think, I'm not 100%, but I want to say this was one of those situations where there was management change at Comedy Central.
New owners.
Yeah, and this wasn't towing the line as much as, say, this over here was. Or Dave's getting this ratings for this time slot. We don't need this over here. And it'll get less ratings at that time slot, so we just don't need it at all.
Or they're thinking, hey, we already got one show that's pushing the boundaries enough with South Park. Do we really need 2?
See, I liked this better than South Park in so many different ways. And that's nothing against South Park.
It just kind of depends on your preference and what you're really into.
Yeah, I mean, South Park will spoof.
South Park will sometimes go extreme, but for the most part, they keep it in their own universe and lane of what they're comfortable doing. Except for
Yeah.
when they do like specials. They sometimes do bigger, badder, whatever. I love the movie. And I
Oh,
guess
God.
there's a movie for this that we should maybe
Yes, it
I should look at.
is.
I thought I saw that, but I'm like, I should ask you about that.
It's Drawn Together, the movie,
All right.
and it features Seth MacFarlane.
Okay. Now is that considered like the final entry in the show? Okay, so should we're gonna talk about it now? This could be prep work, but should we include that with season 3 when we wrap up the franchise?
Probably should. Probably
right.
should, because I don't know that it would warrant a ZPR. I really don't think it would.
No, that's okay. I'm just make sure I get that all included. All right.
All right. But yeah, the movie was pretty fantastic, and it all ties into the series. So it's not like
Awesome.
yeah, it's not like South Park where yes, it's all the kids, but nothing.
It's basically its own episode.
Yeah, very very same thing. This was just the last.
Cool. All right. Looking forward to that. Do you have any favorite episodes, Kevin?
Oh,
Especially of this first batch. And we're not doing a 6-pack, everybody. There was only 7 episodes, and I ain't clipping one of these out.
Okay, so if I would have done that, the one I would have clipped out was the one with Blair.
God damn you, I wouldn't do that.
And it might be one of my favorites. I can't say that it is my favorite. I think I want to say the Octopussoir was my favorite.
Ooh. Do you want to touch the Octopussoir?
It's French.
If you kiss it, you might throw up. Or if you are Prince Charming and you want to take a future bride, find that you are yourself an Octopussoir, and then you kill yourself with a shotgun with 1 bullet left.
He blows his fucking head off.
Well, somebody had to blow him. God, what that makes me think of, it's completely random, but like, I saw that scene and I'm like, this makes me want to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead and watch Dana blow on a shotgun again.
Kinda, yes. Yes.
I don't know why, I just do.
I haven't smoked weed, physical weed, in a very long time. And everyone's like, did he quit? No, not at all. But
It's
if
just better at hiding it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it with, say, maybe a 12 gauge, maybe a 410 at first to start off with. Yeah,
you heard it here, folks. Kevin blowing on a pipe.
I would totally hit that. Hell's yes, because Dana did it. She made it look cool. So yeah,
Fuck yeah.
I learned it from her. When we see her at a con at some point, she's probably be like, "Man, fuck you."
And then I'm gonna be like, "Well, I'm buying you how many drinks you want tonight. It's on me." But you were just talking about an episode you would drop. There is one episode I would drop out of this if I had to. Kind of like a reverse 6-pack. I'll bring it down. I would get rid of the Dirty Prank number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
For some reason, that one just didn't work the best for me. I mean, there's parts of the episode where they're doing. Basically, this episode is like Spanky and Foxy keep playing this prank on the pizza delivery guy. They get the pizza, they bring it in. Spanky takes a crap in the pizza box. They shove it back to the pizza guy, and they're like, "We didn't order pizza with sausage," and it's his turd on the pizza. And then the princess just wants to get in on the fun and the action, and she ultimately gets included in the prank. She ends up screwing up the prank. They get arrested. Then eventually they end up performing the prank, and it delivers. And then, they got her stupid dad involved, and he's showing up, and he's like, "You need to stop seeing that evil idiot pig," like bad boy. They made it like a bit of a romance at the end between the two.
Dirty Dancing.
And I'm just like, this one's not quite working. I was still enjoying it and having fun, but to be frank, that's probably the one episode I'm like, if this wasn't in this season, I wouldn't have known the difference. It didn't feel like if you took that out, you wouldn't have known it was there or not. You could have thrown it in another season or not even had it at all. The sassiness or the really awkward part was like when Princess and the King were kind of being,
making
Oh,
out.
daddy. Oh, daughter.
You have
Yes,
your
in a
mother's
Game of
eyes.
Thrones kind of way, everybody. And it was like, oh, we're going there.
Oh, Game of Thrones went all Elon Musk.
No, they went all family love.
Yeah, man. Elon Musk's dad fucking adopted his sister to.
Oh,
sex.
yeah, you don't have to finish that thought on the
Oh, come on now.
People know what we're talking about. I say Game of Thrones, people who've seen Game of Thrones are like, oh, that kind of, yeah.
Oh, the violent kind. The only part about that episode that I really liked was where they opened the pizza box and Clara's turd is like 3 times the size of Spanky's, so it kind of folds or unfolds out the side of the
It
box.
flops out, yeah. I'm like, girl, you might want to have that checked out. Or at least go to the vet if your octopoussoir was putting out a turd. It certainly isn't looking right.
Oh, the octopus swa. There was so much from that I carry with me, like the interpretive dance. Weren't you paying any attention?
And even Toots was like, bitch, I got this.
Duh. But everyone's making the pinky swear not to keep the octopus swa a secret. And finally, you see the little octopus swa's tentacle going, I pinky swear.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
And then they keep it going, or I don't want to say end it because I guess it is a stinger with it too, but they've got that Scooby-Doo song, La 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 Labia.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm not allowed to listen to that in the house when my wife's home at all.
That's too bad. It's kind of a banging tune.
It is. And the soundtrack is on Spotify, by the way.
Yeah.
But for those listening at home as well, sorry, taking a drink of water. The songs were a lot of fun.
Yeah, the musical numbers. That's how I kind of looked at them, yeah.
Yeah, because the MST, again, was the last show that I saw that I watched religiously before 4 or 5 years of hiatus. And that had musical numbers on it. Not every episode, but periodically. And what they did was fantastic. This was very much the same way. And the songs, just like the characters themselves, were all, I don't want to say parodies, but their likeness to similar types of cartoons. Like La 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 Labia was what, Josie and the Pussycats?
Yeah.
Or the Archies or something like that.
That's kind of the impression I got, was they were going for Josie and the Pussycats. But
yeah. And that song is just, I love it. It makes me happy.
Yeah, all the musical numbers were so much fun for me. I was just like, you know what, this is actually all right, especially when they got to the food competition episode and Princess sung all of her animals to their rescue, and then poor Spanky decided to be like, you know what, this is a great source of potential food for us.
This is the podcast, so no one can see what we're talking about. But I just threw up a picture for Jeff to see that was from Halloween. It was our Halloween 0 Point review that we did this weekend that I didn't use.
Are you going to make me sing this thing? Jesus.
It's a picture of all the kids making fun of Tommy Doyle. And I have Clara next to the kids singing, bullies are people who hate themselves, abused at age 6 or molested at 12. So they pick on others, isn't it?
Isn't it odd? Because their real quarrel is with God.
It was horrible. It was Holocaust genocide type. And when you think that it's going to have a happy ending, they double down on it real hard.
The only happy endings in this show are the ones that were getting laid.
I just love Clara finding the one little chipmunk at the end going, so you won't tell anyone that I inadvertently caused the genocide of your entire people?
No.
And she goes, well, too bad I can't trust you, and snaps his neck.
Oh, sweet innocent Clara.
Oh
She is so gonna be a great queen one day.
Their bigoted ass daddy.
Oh my god. And then she's gonna have Xander as like Sir Florus or something.
I mean, all these characters are so wonderful, and again, the actors brought so much to them
Yeah.
to have like sweetness and sincerity to them. Like they're not being shocking to the sake of being shocking. They are sincerely these characters that are just that fucked up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like the Asian battle monster, the sociopath.
But I like Ling Ling and his dad.
Oh God, yeah. The dad was pretty funny.
That was hilarious. Father, you're hanging out with losers in a loser house. I am so disappointed in you.
And I like that Ling Ling's dad was the one that supposedly came up with the adage, no ticky, no washi.
Yep.
Oh, God damn.
That was so funny. Do you have an underrated favorite character in this one, Kevin? I thought Ling Ling was like almost a scene stealer. And the running gag with I'm doing all the damn dishes. Fuckers.
Oh, golly. No, honestly, I think Hero's probably my favorite other than Foxy. Foxy to me is the main character of the show.
Yeah, she's basically the core of the show, and then Clara, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are no good people on this show. They're all fucked up, but Foxy is the least of which. She's just a freak in the sheets, and that's all she is.
Oh, yes, she is. She'll take your guts out, show them to you, and then have her way with you otherwise.
Mama's gonna give you some good grief. Yeah.
Can we see if it even still is there? Okay, I'll pinch your nipples with a branch. Did you feel anything? No. You? No. All right, bye. And then she was hauling Charlie Brown off like, get back to fucking work.
Yeah, walking him like a dog.
I'll give you something to feel sad about.
I guess I can get rid of the bullies. Yeah, I Foxy's my favorite, but Hero just makes me laugh because he tries to be an alpha male, but he's just a big sissy. Like at the core of him, he is a great big bitch.
He's a pushover.
Yeah, and I want to say he's probably got my favorite phrase in the first season, and that's I said I'm on the phone.
That was pretty good.
Oh, either that or
they all have great lines, but yeah.
Yes. It's hard to pick just one. Like there could be one per episode, maybe even two. But him telling Toot, "Fuck you, fatty faux pas," flying away to save himself. I was like, what a dickhead he is.
Man, that's a good way to look at this show too, is like the writing is surprisingly fresh, snappy, and quick on the draw. Like it feels very natural, and that's really hard to do with an animated show in this kind of style. Like you can kind of pull it off in live action a little bit better because you got actors that also have to then do facials and whatnot, but you have to have your animation synced up. You got to have the lips. You got to have, like, if you got any ambient noise going on, you got your voice actors. Hopefully they were bouncing off each other's in like the same booth or studio area, because I think that would really help. It kind of shows like I haven't really seen any behind the scenes footage, but it gives you the feeling like these people were fun and fast and loose with each other. And I'd be curious if there was any sort of improv going on and if it got included. But honestly, the writing of this show is pretty good when you think about it, because you're not only spoofing things, you're trying to also have your own story going and have good character interplay. And it's there, and the actors carried it forward to the finish line. So outstanding job on the show. Well produced, well written. I really liked it, and I'm glad it's coming back for more for us.
Yes. I wasn't sure. I've been crossing my fingers, and I haven't been wanting to ask you how you liked it or if you'd started it yet. I was half expecting a text going, "What the fuck did you make us do?" But I'm glad you liked it. I
Yeah.
really am, because it is fun. It's from an era that's long gone, but it still does its job quite well.
Well,
Being
you're also getting a guy who grew up with married with children. Like, honestly, I can handle whatever that could throw at anybody. I'm game.
pretty much, yeah, and I can't say that there's nothing on here that you haven't heard before, because there might be an episode here or there where you're just kind of like, wow, I can't believe I just heard those words strung together in that sentence.
Yep. It's like there's a wow moment in just about every episode of like, wow, I haven't heard something like that in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. But one of the things I wanted to tell you, and for the people listening, if you go out and get this box set, listen to the not so much the special features per se, but the commentary, because the cast and the showrunners get together in the booth, and they do a really good job telling stories of what happened, how they got Ling Ling to be a certain type of character, and how everyone thought it was funny that the girl that plays Ling Ling was super hot in real life and blonde. So I highly
Basically,
recommend.
she's Pikachu for anybody who hasn't seen this show and you're wondering, like, what the hell are
Yes.
they talking about with Ling Ling? It's a knockoff version of Pikachu from Pokemon.
Yes, and she is very blatantly making fun of speaking any Mandarin whatsoever.
Yeah. It's like, did they actually do the work to come up with the legitimate Chinese translation for what they're trying to say? Or are they just telling her, just sound funny?
They're just telling her to sound funny, which my son is getting to a point in school where it's like he's getting into multicultural classes, and he's learned that there are multiple languages other than English. And
Bad English, somewhat good English, proper English, British English. Yeah, there's
yeah,
quite a few languages.
and you know me, I don't look up from my work when I'm engaged in something. I will turn and move my eyes, but I will not move my head when I'm working. And he'd made the comment saying that he learned to say Spanish and was trying to make a sound or a word that one of his friends said at school. And I was like, nope, no, put my finger right on his lips. You do not know Spanish. That is not Spanish. And you will not pretend to speak Spanish until you get to Spanish class in high school.
Yeah.
And he just had this
Then
like,
you just learn, por favor, and
yeah,
donde está el baño?
yeah, just don't get your fucking ass kicked by being dumb or saying dumb shit that you don't know.
Yeah, stay away from all the bad words.
Yeah, well, because it's like his teacher and I were kind of laughing about that today, because she's from California, and of course, so are we. My wife is not, so there was things that we were laughing at like that, like don't speak Spanish if you don't know how to speak Spanish. Don't speak any language if you don't know how to speak the language.
Right.
It's offensive. And I'm wanting to teach Hunter the proper manners. That's not something you do. They did that on here, and they tripled down on it. Wasn't doubled down, it was tripled down on it. They made a blonde woman do it, and it was fantastic.
Yes, they did.
They gave her a song, an entire song, if not two, to sing
Pretty
in
much.
this made up Mandarin voice as well.
Ling Ling, I'm working in a sweatshop. Well, how are we gonna save all of our NBA foot contract? We're just gonna stick the kids on the bottom of their feet. I am hugging Shaquille O'Neal's feet. Oh my god.
LeBron James is the future.
Oh, how little they know. How little they know. He becomes the future.
Oh God.
Like, that just reminded me of that years ago. I remember watching ESPN and they're showing this high school kid like smoking everybody on a basketball court. And I'm like, LeBron James. Well, he'll flame out after a year or two. Was I fucking wrong? And I'm not even into basketball, but it's like you hear about these phenoms. It's like none of them really stick. Well, that one sure as shit did, and he's a world champ. So
yeah.
But like, it's funny how timeless this show still is and can be. I'm kind of curious to see how the next couple seasons go, because in this first season there was like they had Trump, they were knocking on The Apprentice in the final episode, and Baby Trump, and every time he'd say "you're fired," he was having a bowel movement. It was it sounds goofy as shit, but when you watch it, it's like that's actually pretty funny. And like you look at the way things are these days, it's like, you could still do stuff like that. People still remember The Apprentice. Of course, he was a president. I mean, there's things you can still do. I don't know. Question in another episode is, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, about like, would this even fit today? I think there's a place for everything. Question is, would any of the major networks throw it on, like Cartoon Network, or even say like Comedy Central again? But I kind of have my doubts about Comedy Central, because they are not the same fucking channel they were even 10 years ago.
No, once they got rid of Tosh, you knew that they were changing direction.
Yeah.
And I know Tosh isn't for everybody, but he was that shocking type of humor.
Yeah.
Anyway, that'd be a 0 point for another episode evening, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So, but this does it continues on doing what you've seen, as far as mimicking different reality shows, making fun of the different reality shows, and then they start parodying movies or movie characters as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun coming up.
Awesome. I am looking forward to it. Well, this was a hell of a first season, Kevin. Got any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I do.
Do it. Let's hear it.
We haven't talked about yet is the horrible joke that they played using real footage of tragedy. Is Xander's going to leave the house to go find his girlfriend, of course, and he blows on this magic warp whistle as Link would in The Legend of Zelda, and this tornado whisks him away to go where
magical tornado,
and it rips through a fucking trailer park.
Yep.
And when they come back from commercial, it's a real tornado, like that it just destroyed a trailer park. Otherwise, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Jeff, for letting us do this show.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you for wanting to do the next 2 seasons. I wasn't sure.
Well, the only big question I got is, what is going on?
Oh, God, that scream. I'm going to have it stuck in my head. What is going on?
Be warned, everybody. I'm going to clip that, and that's going to be in our next episode.
Oh, Lordy.
I ain't going to tell you where, when. It's just going to come out of nowhere. I have fun editing, so like if I can have a little extra fun and throw some nice zingers or moments in there, I absolutely will.
Well, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Hell yeah. This whole thing's supposed to be fun. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. We just had some great announcements on our YouTube channel about upcoming projects and what we're working on. We're working on a full new website, so hopefully we got that coming soon, and some new graphic work. We're maybe looking at doing some merch and whatnot. And if you come to our YouTube channel and check out our announcement video, you'll get the rest of the details of other things in process. And got Drawn Together Season 2 coming up next. So thank you, Screamers, for tuning in. We won't stop till you start screaming. We'll see you next time. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.
What is going on?